Welcome to the Sound Orthotics online order management system. This video aims to give an overview of adding a new work order to the system. We have a lot to cover in this video, so let's get started. Once you've logged onto the system, navigate over to the Orders page where you will find the Add Order button. After clicking the button, you will see the first page of the order form. Let's pause here for a moment and have a look around. The work order is laid out with 10 sections grouping information. I'm going to flash through them once here pretty fast, but I'll linger over each one in a moment as we add an order. As you can see, this first page contains the fields that have to do with your patient. The second page outlines all the various orthotic types you can select and the orthotic shell material. Next is the shell modifications section, including arch fills. Number 4 has all of your additions like heel plugs and met pads. The 5th section handles postings, while page 6 allows you to select all your covers, including forefoot extensions, so you can see how thick your forefoot will be. Number 7 details delivery information. This is where you can indicate a rush job or arrange to ship to an alternate location. Number 8 marks the quantity, pairs versus singles, repeats, and general items. Number 9 is where you can upload your scan files or indicate that you are sending casts or foam boxes to the lab. And lastly, number 10 will show the status history of the order along with special notes. Nothing to see here yet. Now that we've gotten a quick lay of the land, let's add a new patient's order to the system. As you may have noticed, you can navigate through the various tabs by clicking directly on the tab you want, or you can click the next and back buttons to move from tab to tab. On the Patients page at the very top, you will notice a field which says Add New. When this Add New is in this field, you are about to add a new patient to the database without having to enter the patient information using the Patients page. So for a patient you know you've never sent to us before and therefore is not already loaded on our system, you can use this Quick Add function on this page to enter your patient's information. The mandatory fields are first name, last name, and your clinic, or the clinic you want this patient to be attached to if you work more than one clinic location. The date of birth is not mandatory, but it is a key to the record. That means that a blank is an acceptable entry if you don't have or want to share your patient's date of birth. But you can still use it to differentiate between two patients of the same name if you have any. All the other fields are optional, but appreciated by the lab as the most up-to-date information regarding your patients. These include weight, sex, shoe size, shoe type, complaints or diagnoses, and any additional notes you may want us to have while manufacturing your orthotics. Once the patient information is filled out, you can move to Part 2, Orthotype. Selecting an orthotype is mandatory. The order will not save without one, so I suggest making your selection here right after adding the patient info. The orthotypes are arranged by category. Custom at the top, I'll come back to these in a moment, followed by functional, sport, accommodative, dress, and specialty devices. As you can see, there can be several different options under each category. What you need to know is that each of these orthotic types comes with specific generic defaults. When you select one of the orthotic types in a specific category, the system will load the lab standard features of that orthotic type. The custom category of orthotics have little to no default settings. Choose the orthotic type, the defaults of which come closest to the specifications you want for your patient. Let's look at the UCBL full and see what I mean. The first thing you notice is that when you select an orthotype, a spinning wheel comes up to remind you that your order is having the lab standard defaults loaded. Now don't think that just because the lab standards are loaded up for you, to make any possible data entry on your part easier and faster, that you are hemmed in by faults. You can still override nearly every aspect of the order to get exactly what you want on your orthotic. Let's go through this one quickly to see what happened when I made my selection. So selecting a UCBL full defaulted to a direct mill shell of semi-rigid polypropylene. Now suppose that I want mine to be a 4mm shell. Let's do that. Now onto the shell modifications. Here you can see that the heel cup depth is already set to 26 to 30. The lab will select the appropriate depth to the shell for you. And a medial and lateral flange has been selected. Okay, I'm satisfied with everything here. Let's move on. In the additions section, nothing special has been added. So let's add a 3mm heel plug for this one. Notice the autofill of the right heel plug. We've tried to make your data entry as fast as possible. Of course, we can't please every situation, so if you really want your heel plug only on one side, just go back and blank it out. Postings are set to standard with a rear foot direct milled post and no forefoot post for a UCBL full. That doesn't mean you can't still add a 4-foot post if you like. Let's do a 2-degree varus post to sulcus. The last big item is covers. As you can see, the UCBL comes standard with a 3mm black V-foam top cover and an EVA full bottom cover. If that bottom cover is too thick, you can change it to vinyl or eliminate it altogether. The delivery is normal, and I'll discuss rushes in a separate video, so nothing to change here. The general tab is already default to 1 pair, but here is where you can select a single foot or indicate multiple pairs of the same thing. I'll discuss repeats in a separate video also. Now to files. If you are sending along scans of your patient's feet or casts, it's a 2-step process. After clicking the attached file, first you'll browse for your files and then you will upload them. As you can see, I set up my raw file folder in my favorites so that I could navigate to it quickly when I want to upload my files. This is the only step that can't be done from your iPad, as iPads will not link to your scanner's computer files. Once you have selected the files, you must remember to upload them. Please don't forget to upload your files. Once the files are uploaded, you will see them listed below. Okay, files are loaded. All my data is entered. Save your order. Now the order is saved. But it's not sent to the lab. Well, why not, you ask? Well, because maybe your patient hasn't paid you yet. Or maybe you're waiting for approval from an agency like NIHB perhaps. As you will notice, after being saved, the order status is set to order setup. If you are waiting on an approval, you can set the status to on hold at clinic. However, when you are ready to send the order to the lab, just change the status to send it to the lab. Please see the status video to see the 3 methods to change an order status. So, we have successfully added a new work order to the system and sent it off to the lab. Now, a word on when you can expect to have us ship your order back. As you can see on page 7, there is an expected shipping date. This date is automatically recalculated the moment the order is sent to the lab. All orders sent to the lab are expected to ship in 5 business days, while orders sent to the lab after noon are dated for 6 business days. This is to allow the lab at least 5 whole days to get the job done. If you need your order sooner, please see the video on how to request a rush. For more details on each of the work order sections that cover everything from covers and postings and a host of other questions, please see our extensive list of instructional videos for our online work order system.